Hi, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Storm Boy.
me, Banshee. Yes, we have a raging storm out there right now.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. Fingers
Welcome
crossed.
to our show. Of course, this is your weird week.
It is your weird week.
And it's the show where we talk about things going on that seem to be above and beyond our more personal lives. We throw some cards, and we usually start off by recapping what happened in the previous week. What's wrong, Banshee?
We do. Perhaps you want to start.
Okay. Well, I can go
No,
through what
I'm
our...
just kidding.
Thank you.
I just want to get my wand. My magic wand. But anyway, we had an interesting week. It was like all the cards were really, on the most part, positive.
Mhm.
Couldn't figure that out, and still totally can't figure out what the heck happened. We know there was some pre-court decisions that people thought were good ones. We don't know if it's that. We also know that Biden had a very productive meeting with the President or Prime Minister of India, Modi, and that went well. But we kind of started looking at this Russia thing that happened, the coup in Russia, and can't help but wonder if the cards somehow relate to this.
Yeah, we kind of think it's the best overall model when we consider everything, things we've talked about in recent weeks with American politics.
Yes.
The cards just weren't kind of aligning towards anything that might have been happening, or not in a way that we think this did.
Well, we think this will work for it. Let's take a look at this right now. We'll start with the focus for last week, which was Death Upright. And so we feel here that some change was imminent. Some change was going to happen. It was going to be sudden and swift. And one could argue that this coup, even though there's back and forth talk about some people knowing that this was going to happen in advance. They knew that Prigozhin and the Wagner Group was moving towards, a confrontation with Putin or with the Defense Department. And, then we've also got this idea, too, that many people, even though they may have known this, were kind of unprepared for it. So, sudden changes like that. And whether the coup worked or not, there's definitely some changes that are happening because of it. Putin's standing in the world community has been weakened. Who knows what's going to happen to Prigozhin over there in Belarus? I'm not, if Putin labeled him a traitor, even though he claimed that the deal is on and everything is good, I don't know what this means for Prigozhin's life going forward.
For a situation, this particular war going on for just over a year now.
Well, Ukraine.
Right. This represented the most significant big change to the status quo that had been more or less going along.
And that's what I'm thinking, is that's the other part of this, is what does this mean for Ukraine? This is a major change and shift. And, I don't know if they were able to capitalize much on all the confusion and, possible realignment of troops and things that were going on due to this coup, but they had an opportunity here. Let's go on to our next card, which is what we will find out or see, and it was the King of Pentacles upright.
And that could talk about what you just mentioned, the idea of maybe Ukraine getting a chance to kind of stabilize things or remanage, reorder their situations.
Good point, but it also could, Prigozhin, there was really something interesting here. Somebody said it was all about Prigozhin getting paid. I don't know anything about that, but I do remember seeing a picture with him standing around a van that was full of boxes of money. And he claimed it was his money. I didn't really get the whole story of it, but it was almost like somebody was trying to remove it or move it from him, but they got it, they confiscated it. So was it all about money? Remember, a lot of people think that the Russian government is operated like a criminal enterprise. And, it's like it's mobsters fighting with each other.
If you want to put King of Pentacles into the context of that kind of situation, then a money man,
I know.
It kind of aligns.
I wouldn't usually do it with the King of Pentacles upright, but you know what? It does does talk of their power and their control.
Well, and it's the context. That's how their country works, is kind of that way. It doesn't have the same sense of government that other countries do.
Indeed. Card 3 is the High Priestess reversed. And what was interesting about card 3, that is what other perspectives need to be considered. I think it was just what I talked about earlier, Mr. O, the fact that some people kind of had an inkling like something like this would happen, and others, were kind of taken unawares. And in any event, people were not very prepared for it. They weren't in tune with the timing of this.
Since the sense of the Tarot of Oppositions is that there really is a range or a spectrum of whatever that thought is, it does kind of fit into that, because it does seem like some things were known earlier, some things are only coming to light now, and they are all, of course, things that we need to consider about how this went, and that there were just so many differing motivations or agendas at play here. Worried about the storm?
I am. I'm keeping my eye on the storm while we speak with you. There's a lot of howling going on out there, or thunder. Huh?
Let's keep going.
I will. But I'm still going to pay attention to the storm for my safety, because there's a big window behind me here, and you're supposed to stay away from windows. All right. Card 4, the Four of Cups is upright, and this was the overall impact. And it's interesting to me because, again, opportunities here. Was there an opportunity for Prigozhin to get some concessions from Putin? Maybe he didn't get what he wanted. This certainly doesn't seem like an opportunity for Putin, but it did seem also like some opportune developments for Ukraine to show how weak and divided, that the military is there. And also, one other thing, I'm sorry, I'm just going here. One other thing is that, this also showed, the strength or lack thereof of the troops themselves and their fighting ability. This is going to affect a lot of things.
Well, the overall impact shown by this card, the Four of Cups, may indicate that there are still factors to consider, and that maybe there is, whoever that chooser of those factors are, they're not really clear yet on what their best, choices are. And maybe that just talks from an overall broad point of view that in terms of that situation, it's not clear where to go now, what to choose. And of course, you sort of see that with the idea that his name I can't pronounce. Prigozhin is now moved off to, Belarus, and maybe there's still something in the wings for him.
Card 5, what could win or not the weird week? Well, we have the Ace of Cups here. What on earth? Well, you know what? I think here that I don't want to say love prevailed, because all of these people are bad actors, in my opinion. So the bottom line to me is that some benevolence prevailed in that Prigozhin decided he did not want to spill Russian blood. So there was no major bloodshed. Things kind of de-escalated. Putin slightly disempowered. Ukraine kind of figuring out their place in all of this. And it's an interesting set of circumstances.
I can't really add anything to that. I think that pretty much sums it up. What could win the week or not.
So that's what we have. And we certainly would be interested in your opinions on this. And you know what? Why don't we check out what's going to happen in this weird week ahead?
Ooh.
This reading will be good from June 26th through July 2nd.
Right.
Don't mind me looking out my window.
Well, I'll just take the camera off you.
Wow. That's harsh, Mr.
And of course, I have a new background for your weird week, and I hope people like it.
It looks mysterious.
Yeah, I may go back to the other one occasionally, but I think I like this one, so I want to play with it for a while. So our first card, of course, is drawn from Banshee's Twin Tarot Oracle deck.
Indeed.
And it is the major focus for the week, or what we think the card wants us to see.
Well, we're going to find out. It's a double major arcana with upright and reversed cards. All right. Oh my. It's the upright sun.
Beautiful. I love it. I love that card.
Yeah, it's very nice. The white horse is riding in. It's not a horse of death here, obviously, you know. It looks very vibrant, lively, life enhancing. This looks like success, you know, is the focus on the week ahead, or some positive activity happening. You know, that's the major focus or theme, is trying to, you know, move in a more positive, enlightened direction.
You know, other things that happened this last week brought out a lot of bitter and gall with people, specifically the tragic fate of the Titan submersible. Many people languishing a lot of blame on these billionaires for their hubris, and other people saying we neglected other situations of even more magnitude of suffering. Maybe the sun is saying this week we're going to kind of try to focus on good things and not be, you know, so negative and bitter. Let's hope.
All right. Well, you know, card 2 is what we will find out or see, the mysteries, and Mr. O uses his
Secrets Tarot.
Yes, aptly appropriate for this position.
So will we find out that there's something, maybe a little secret behind the idea of everyone wanting to feel
it's
the
a
good
secret.
vibe? Ooh. Tricky, tricky, tricky.
I wait anxiously.
Indeed. And it's the Knight of Pentacles, and it's an upright Knight of Pentacles.
It's interesting, there's horses in the first 2 cards too, like movement. You know, but the Knight of Pentacles is a slower mover. However, what we will find out or see is maybe progress on the economic front. You know, maybe things are going to start looking better economically in different parts of the world. You know, this definitely looks like the coming or going of a material financial matter of some sort.
Well, without being very specific, it also sort of ties in with the sun in a way that maybe there's just some sense of a warming in the overall tenor of the world, or the country, the economy being better, things feeling better, you know, an emphasis on lighter things happening, perhaps.
Fingers crossed, huh?
Alrighty then. So now
well, card 3
our shared deck.
What other perspectives need to be considered?
And we use the Tarot of Oppositions,
which will both shuffle because rumor has it, it's our shared deck.
It is, even if we only share it once a week. On this show.
Get my own.
On this show. That's not a threat, that's a promise. By the way, we will both be doing a united flip through or whatever unboxing of a couple of recent
two
purchases.
Unboxings of 2 decks.
Some fabulous decks.
Indeed, the Yuletide Tarot and the Tarot of the Vampires. Scary. And Indeed. It's all very interesting. I think you will enjoy it. Stay tuned for that soon. Well, maybe I won't want this deck. I can never seem to shuffle it.
I know. I'm beginning to wonder, like, we should do some sort of stone washing. Like, you know, they make jeans a little bit more relaxed, you know, for their stiffness. Let's stone wash these tarot cards. No, that's not going to work out.
All right. I got a couple good shuffles in there. Let's see what we have.
To see what happens.
Other perspectives do we need to consider?
And it's
upright.
The upright King of Swords.
Thank goodness that's upright.
Upright King of Swords. But we are
do have
encouraged
to consider them both.
Consider its other side.
Well, I almost wonder here if whatever's happening in the economic sector, and the success, this sense of a feeling of lightness and joy, won't have something to do with a decision that's made, some type of decision.
Well, and these decisions are not necessarily legal things a la the Supreme Court, but maybe there are things that happen
financial decisions
in financial areas of the world or in other forms of governance that cause, decisions to be made that maybe have some effects. This would seem to say that maybe, if there are some situations where there has been issues on either side of that, maybe something will come out that favors reason, at least. I won't say the right side because all of that's fungible.
I would like to say that higher wisdom prevails here, but we have to consider both elements of the card. And for me to do that, I would sort of think that maybe this is indicating, there may be some resistance, there may be some pullback, to some of these things. But I feel that the higher, perspective prevails, and the decisions to do the right things, will make a happy difference for a lot of people. I had a thought and I lost it now. Go ahead.
Well, with the current situation heating up legally for our former president, one could almost feel that some of the cards do sort of move that tapestry along. This one might seem to be a misnomer, but the thing is that a lot of people have said the case that was being built was slow and steady and pretty much with certainty on some degree.
Well, since you brought up the case, which I wasn't going to go there.
That's what we will find out.
But what I think here, remember that the special prosecutor has asked for a delay in the trial start date.
That's right.
And so a decision may come down on that, I wonder.
How interesting.
Now that you brought it up, I wasn't going to go there. Actually, I was thinking in terms of maybe there's going to be some kind of trade agreement or economic thing that's going on that will affect a major group of people. So let's see. Right. Card 4 is the overall impact, and for that we use my Healing Light Tarot. Let's see what we get. Okay, one more. Wow, so the overall impact, dun dun dun, is the Swords upright. Victory. Somebody wins. Let's hope it's us for a change. This is a victory. This is perhaps a time of breakthrough, innovative ideas and thinking.
Right. Sometimes the idea behind the swords is about scientific knowledge, if not medical, surgical knowledge, things like that. And so maybe something is a breakthrough. I mean, I could see this pertaining to, there's some current things going on with energy, that thing that you were telling me about, plasma something. I don't remember that. But, I'd like to think that it would be used for good, and right now we sort of have a sense of that,
Well, I think there's some positive thing going on here. We may have to recap this and try to make a little more sense of it.
So then, we are now at the final card.
What could win this weird week?
And I use the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot for that.
Oh, I got to catch up on some card writing here. Let me do that. I record the cards so we have them. All right, that's one. And then we have a bridge.
Well, as they used to say on the Ed Sullivan Show, and away we go. And it's the Knight of Hearts.
Is it upright?
It's reversed.
No!
That's the Knight of Cups.
Why would you end that way? Doggone it.
That's the Knight of Cups. It says hearts, but hearts are cups in this deck. The deck is sort of a fusion between the tarot and modern decks in the sense of how they look at the suits. But it is that Knight reversed.
Well, what could win or lose the weird week could be somebody who is having a temper tantrum or just an emotional tantrum. It could be somebody who, or a group of people maybe, who are acting out and causing some disruption.
There's a sense of dispassionate too. This could just be the sense of somebody who makes a dispassionate choice that doesn't necessarily favor who the heartfelt choice would make, but maybe resolves a situation that maybe, hinted at here in the cards. It could pertain to something completely different.
It might fall in line with, that aspect of the reversed King of Swords here, where some people just are not happy. In all these decisions, there are winners and losers. It may make a lot of people happy what's happening here, but there's always somebody who feels like they got the short end of the deal. So let's take a look at this again and see if we can make sense of it. This is a toughie. You know what? I will say we have 2 swords here, which could indicate judicial actions in a way, or governmental actions of some sort, certainly. We have this economic indicator here, and what we'll find out or see, which is what led me to believe this could be economic or financial oriented.
But it could also be just about management in general, process in general.
And it could be about, but it's a knight. So
it's more likely money, I agree.
I don't know. If it was a king, I'd think differently. But here we have, of course,
another knight.
Another knight. And yeah, it's interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of moves this week. There's going to be moves in the financial, and it's going to affect people emotionally, in some way, negatively. I don't know what this could be. I honestly don't. Let's look at this again. The sun in this position is indicating there's some joy, some illumination, some optimism returning, and enthusiasm for things going in the right direction again.
It could be talking about something we know or some knowledge that's learned or something too.
Well, we'll find out or see with the Knight of Pentacles here, the Knight of Pentacles upright, is maybe there's some financial element to all of this. There could be some movements to change some financial policies, or I don't know. I have another thought I'll bring up when we're all done.
Right. For me, the idea too is that maybe this is telling us however these situations are, it's kind of a slow and steady thing. It's a thing about, metering out how we move towards our goals.
Money comes, money goes, but mostly comes in this case. It's the coming of something good. There's good news. And so what other perspectives need to be considered? It looks as though there could be some decision made, some just objective decision that will benefit all, yet not necessarily everybody will feel happy about it. Or maybe this other knight is here to say it will happen kind of suddenly.
Well, the other thing, too, could be that maybe, to some degree, it's a situation where we throw out the baby with the bathwater kind of thing, that there is a slight destructive effect to the decision for some. There's a greater good, though, served by what happens.
Okay, what is the overall impact? Is the Ace of Swords, I think there's swift movement here. There's ideas, there's brainstorming, there's innovation. There could be maybe legal judgments or decisions.
There's the beginning of a challenge. There's the beginning of a challenge or, some sort of... I didn't want to put it in military terms, because we just went through that in a way, but this could be this could be a campaign of some sort beginning, something beginning. Maybe
go ahead.
Well, maybe it's even a more beneficial campaign begun by, other agency in the world that wants to not let what happened last week and the Russia thing happen again.
So what could win the weird week or make it lose is, allowing emotions to get the better of us or some of us. And, maybe taking things the wrong way, blowing things out of proportion, getting all emotional or letting the emotions or anger or resentment maybe that you feel
moving
interfere.
Towards our bitterness.
Right. You want to add anything to that?
Nope, that's good
I
enough.
have 3 scenarios to consider here. One could be maybe something happening with the Trump thing. Is it possible that he will plead out on this or make a deal with the government? Now that they want to change the start date for the trial, this could really impinge on his primary campaigning. And, or is some judgment going to just come down on this decision? And that will make, the Trumpster kind of angry. Now, the other thing is that this could be about the Russia situation or maybe a bleed off into Ukraine. Is there going to be some maneuvers now for peace talks if things seem to be crumbling? Could other things be happening, where Putin's going to have to consider again reconsolidating his power and changing things around? I'm not going to rule out that it's that situation either.
Yes, and so in that situation, I could see this being all the united agencies of the world, powers of the world, on all the various factions trying to compel everyone to still stay on the white side of things, the right side of things.
And finally, my last thought is just a generic that it's something in the economic financial sector, some major moves. This could be, global, that has some ramifications for more than, say, just the United States.
Interesting.
And it should be positive. So let's see what happens, shall we, when next we meet again for another episode of Your Weird Week. Take care, everybody, and
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.